Hi, thanks for coming and checking out my analysis here. Today, I'm going to be looking at the offensive side and defensive sides of the Liverpool third goal. It's really simple. Lots of errors made, in my opinion, but it's basic principles by Liverpool, and then it's naive play by Arsenal. We have to remember they're young, they're going to learn from these things, especially when the analysis is done in training. But just wanted you to see what I saw. Let's get into it.
Can he find a way through? You bet he can.
Like as it will go for goal.
Sidestepping one, sidestepping two.
Wonderfully taken by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
So if you watch, just before this passage of play begins, there's a free kick. Van Dijk puts the ball down and he kind of turns his body and looks at the keeper and almost dummies to play the ball into the keeper while watching the response from the Arsenal forwards. What are the Arsenal forwards looking to do? Immediately, they take a few steps forward. So that lets you know that they're going to be looking to press. And generally, a time to press is when the ball goes backwards. It helps you get higher up the field, helps you kind of minimize the playing space where you can then start to get touch tight to players. Liverpool keep the ball across their back line. They go back into the keeper a few times. The reason for that is to try to draw in Arsenal's press, try to pull them higher up the field, which will hopefully separate the lines and find spaces to be able to play into. Now, when the ball goes back into Alisson, he's pressured by Aubameyang. You can see that the two centre-backs have split. And on our right-hand side, Saka is doing a good job of just sitting in between Van Dijk and Tsimikas, so he can help in the defensive in the defensive pressure. If the ball goes into Van Dijk, he can start to press. If the ball goes into the fullback Tsimikas, then he can also try to track back and help to create a 2v1 in that situation. I'm not sure why Tomiyasu is as far back as he is. Part of my reasoning for that may be because Mane, understanding the principles of the game and the importance of width, pulls as wide as he can. He is pretty much on the sideline right near Tomiyasu. So maybe Tomiyasu doesn't press in because he's worried about the ball into that space. And knowing that Alisson has the capability of playing it, he's basically just being cautious, just looking to keep hold of Mane. It's very intelligent play by Mane. Mane knowing, pull wide as far as you can, stretch that back line, create 1v1s in areas, or prevent them from being able to commit players to the press. It's very, very clever. There's also a poor reaction from the midfield. When the ball goes into Tsimikas, there should be an immediate movement into a position to screen the forward pass into Jota by Partey. But Partey doesn't pick that up. I think there's a bit of fortune to the header, but the job is the job. Once that ball goes forward and breaks that first line of pressure, he then has to start to switch on, recognize that there needs to be some covering done. Space needs to be covered. Passing lanes need to be covered. He doesn't do that. And so then the header then breaks his line, and now he's behind the ball having to defend, which is impossible because he's behind the ball, can't affect the game. It's interesting to note that all over the field, Arsenal are pretty much settled in terms of the 1v1 battles, especially in the midfield. You've got Smith Rowe, who's tucked in, who's tight. You've got Odegaard, who's tight. You've got Partey, who's tight. Maitland-Niles is the only one that isn't marking anybody at the moment and is also too far away from Partey for Partey to press without exposing spacing behind him. So not only does Partey recover poorly when the ball goes into Tsimikas, but you've also got Maitland-Niles, who's, in my opinion, woefully out of position, too far away, so therefore can't offer support. If Maitland-Niles is closer, then you can allow Partey to press. With Maitland-Niles, who's narrow, he can then cut out that header that's being played into Jota, or he's closer to be able to take Jota and allow Gabriel to drop off, which will then prevent them being able to break on us and get in behind the line. Gabriel also doesn't do a good enough job of getting tight to Jota and preventing Jota from playing that ball down the line. When you're talking about a defender marking, you want them to mark the goal side shoulder. And so he was marking the goal side shoulder, but when you look at it kind of relatively, you've also got a situation where your centre-back partner has pulled right wide onto Mane because the fullback's gone and pressed high. So knowing that White is now being isolated with Mane, knowing that he's faster than White, knowing that there's an open passing lane to be played into Mane there, Gabriel should either be touch tight, making sure he wins that ball, or dropping off to prevent any through passes and passing Jota on to Partey. In the end, they get caught with White being too far away from Gabriel and being square, which is easy to play through, and no cover and defending. In the build-up as well, Salah has been very intelligent by not making a move over to ball side of the field. And again, all that does is keeps the defense spread out. You'll see once the ball goes into Tsimikas, Salah is hovering around the other side of the field by the center circle. There's no movement to try to get across because, first of all, Jota's in there. Jota's taking Gabriel towards the ball, leaving that 1v1. If Salah comes across, he brings another defender in where the potential for cover is higher, especially someone like Tavares who's so quick. So he just holds his space, stays where he is. Also knowing that Trent Alexander-Arnold is by himself on the halfway line, on the far touch line, he standing there is also giving space to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So again, the recognition of space, the recognition of the 1v1s, the recognition of the battles, the individual battles, whether you're quicker than somebody, stronger than somebody, etc. But then also the recognition of the passing lanes and what potentially could happen is top notch from Liverpool here. Mane's touch after Jota's header, which is magnificent. Mane's touch is sublime. It gives him an ability to be able to run onto the ball without having to take any more touches. So it's basically about speed rather than speed dribbling or running with the ball at speed. He's able to push the ball out of his feet because there's lots of room to run into. And that gives him an opportunity to then start to pull away from White. I think Tavares makes a mistake here as well, in that he starts to come across the field too early. In fact, with the angle that Mane is taking towards goal, is in a much lower percentage space for him to score from that angle. Whereas You've got Mo Salah, who is center of goal, in between the goalposts, who has a much higher percentage opportunity to score. I think Tavares should have left White chasing Mane and just put him under pressure that way, forcing Mane into that area where he's kind of corner of the 6-yard box, not easy to score from, especially in the form that Ramsdale's in, and Tavares stick with Salah so that any cross into Salah can be cut out or any shots can be blocked from Salah. Instead, he commits himself across, then he gets caught in between the two players. And once he's caught in between the two players, he's easy to play past. And then you've got Salah all by himself, who's not going to miss. You'll also see Mane's movement is extremely intelligent in that he continues, once Tomiyasu's left him, he continues to move towards the ball. This is what we call counter movement. So he basically is moving in towards the ball to see if White will follow him. And you know, this is very, very basic. Whenever you're able to move away from your defender, you're always going to have a positive. The defender either follows you, and if they do, you've got the room in behind. You can go into the space that the defender's just vacated. Or if the defender doesn't follow you, then you can pick the ball up with space, get turned, get your head up, get running. In this situation, it's easy to say Ben White should have just let him go towards the ball. But the game circumstances, we're 2-0 down. We need to get the ball. We need to be aggressive, be on the front foot to try to get back into the game. The second thing about Ben White going to press is they had done a man marking job on Mane all game. And so it was part of the tactical plan. They wanted to get after him, get tight to him, stop him getting turned, stop him from being able to run freely into space. The big key here for me, this goal came as a consequence of poor central midfield play. I don't think Tomiyasu could have done anything other than what he did. You know, if he pressed early, the ball would have been played directly into Mane. So he had to wait. It's almost like setting a trap. You keep the distance a little bit, allow the ball to be played, and once the ball's played, then you can react and see if you can look to pick off the ball by the time it receives the player and they're looking to make a pass. If the midfield reacted a little bit quicker, if they'd reacted a little bit more directly, then I think this could have been snuffed out. All in all, it's a very, very good piece of play from Liverpool. It goes to show the game doesn't have to be complicated. It's a very basic understanding of the 4 reference points in the game. An understanding of where the ball is, an understanding of where the space is, an understanding of where your teammates are, how you can help your teammates or inhibit your teammates, and where the defenders are. You know, have you got the defender stretched? Do you have an advantage somewhere? You know, has somebody made a mistake that's left someone isolated 1v1? All of these things factored into this decision. All of these things factored into the decision making for this goal. I think there's a small bit of fortune with the Tsimikas header. I don't think he was meant to be heading it inside, but it came off, and it was a very well worked goal. Thanks for watching this tactical breakdown of this goal. Very well worked, and was actually part of my move of the game for my game review. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've learned anything from this video, that's great. Please give me a thumbs up and share the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And finally, click on that bell so that you get alerted as to when new videos come out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Come on, you Gunners.